right. Welcome to week 2 of English class distance learning at CVLCC. All right. This is what you are required to do for English 8 this week. That's why it's so important. I want you to watch this video first because the point of it is for me to kind of explain to you what it is you need to do to, help you out. Okay. So you're going to watch the screencast, which you're doing right now. Congratulations. Included in that is a quick write, a blogging lesson. That's our writing skills for the week. We'll come back to sentence combining next week. And then I'm going to give you instructions for your independent work. So on your own, that means you're going to read/listen, and then you're going to refer back to slide number 24. That's why I send out the link to this slideshow, because you need to be able to get at those links and stuff. And then for your writing, there are instructions on slide number 25. I came up with 3 different options for your blog post this week. And then, of course, you'll do the quick write during this. More on the blog post at the end. All right, this is a really great video. I want you to pause this video and then you can refer to the slideshow, watch it. It's great. But I'm not going to watch it in this video because that's too meta. I have it linked here, but I'm pretty sure the audio won't come through, or to be a little bit funky. So do pause this, go to this actual slideshow and watch this video, The Happiest Man Alive. And now here's your quick write. And just take 5 to 7 minutes on this. These all kind of turn into options for your blog post. So if anything, you could give all 3 prompts a try. And then whichever one you find, like after just writing for a couple minutes, that you're coming up with the most ideas or you feel the most connected to, like in your heart and your mind or whatever, then maybe that's the one that you want to explore a little bit more. So the first one, what's the difference between happiness and joy? Right? Those are 2 different words, both in Spanish and in English. What makes them different? Try to explain in your own words as best you can, and then give an example from your own life. What in your experience is the difference between feeling happy and feeling joyful, or feeling happy and having joy? Second question, might it be possible to learn to be happier? Just whatever you think about that. And there's an optional podcast that really focuses on this idea that it is possible. It might be possible to learn to be happier. And then share your thoughts and wonderings about the happiest man alive. That's that video that's embedded on the slide before this. So go ahead and take care of that. And I'm going to move on to the writing skills workshop for this week. So this is 7 things to do every time you blog, or the way I listed it in the blog post I just published last night, and actually already updated this morning because I just can't leave it alone. It's 7 things every student's blog post should have and do. So if you were to go into the slideshow, I have it linked. This is a screenshot of what that post looks like. So what I'm going to be doing in this video is covering the materials in that blog post, but I'm going to kind of talk it out. So I hope like that helps you. If it helps you to kind of hear me say things, I'm talking out the content of the blog post. If, however, you listen to this podcast and then it's still like there's certain things you're not sure about, please do go to that blog post because I explain things more in depth. There's more screenshots and stuff like that. And I guess if nothing else, then it's a blog post, and I tried my very hardest to follow all of the sort of rules and guidelines that I set out here. Okay, so first thing is you want to give it a descriptive title with clarification like this. What I mean by that is there's a very specific style in current blogging, and writers use these parentheses. Sometimes they're referred to as brackets, but they're definitely parentheses to give more clarification. It's a style thing, okay? Just like you might notice how meme styles, or like the way language is used in memes, changes over time. It changes very quickly. So right now, this is your most current information. Give it a descriptive title, and current market research suggests that you should have a title with at least 8 words. I'm going to take that into account and update a few of my own posts, and going to do that from now on. Um, if you're focusing on a text like an article, book, or film, which pretty much is what you're going to be doing from week to week, try to make your claim into a title. Okay. So, what I mean by that is anytime if you're analyzing a text, interpreting it, relating it to your own life, connecting it to something else that you've read, something else that you've watched, you have like a solid idea, an idea that's unique and kind of different from anyone else's. That's your claim. And that's what you want to lead with as your title. Okay, because that's what's going to get people's attention, because we're all looking for something novel, something different. So this is a screenshot of a blog I found. Ooh, nope. Okay. We are not going back to normal. All right. That statement right now is very real, very relevant. And so this author used that as a title of an essay about some, I don't know, some text called Gold Fame Citrus. I haven't read it. But that struck me as like, oh, okay. That made me want to read it because that's a strong statement. Okay. And then there's this other, I found a blog that was about happiness, and it said how to stop living in the past, move forward to a happier life. So you can see there, that's a real life example of using a descriptive, sort of wordy title with clarification in parentheses. Okay. Second part of this, and the title and the featured image really go together hand in hand. Choose a featured image to draw attention. And by featured image, it literally says, if you're in like the block editor creating a new post in WordPerfect, it says on the right sidebar, it says choose featured image. So you're going to choose a featured image. The weird thing is you won't see it on the page as you're editing. But once you publish it or once you preview it or whatever, it's really prominent. It's right after the title. Okay. So like, for example, going back 2 slides, that was the featured image I chose for this blog post. Okay. Um, go ahead. You would need to go into the slideshow. There's some site called negativespace.co, and there's some pretty good stock photos there to choose from. Stock photos are kind of like those generic photos of like, I don't know, computers, offices, things like that you might need for your blog posts. I'm also going to have the library within Teams and within PowerSchool updated by Monday. Um, I downloaded a few different libraries of high res, meaning like really high quality, crisp, clear images. I will upload those so that you can use those too. And besides that, there's Google Image, but just be careful, don't steal. Um, all right, 3, write an introduction is always needed. So this is one of the writing steps. It's almost like half of this is about how you format your blog, the kind of text elements that you use, like elements that are graphic. And then this is a writing step. So you do need an introduction. You need to hook your reader, especially because people reading on the internet have a very short attention span, very, very short, like 8 seconds. So you don't necessarily want to write long paragraphs the way you would do for an academic sort of essay. You want to go smaller, right? Smaller. So it doesn't, your paragraph in this sense, like, doesn't need to follow that format of like claim, um, evidence, analysis, evidence, analysis, la la la. La. You're gonna lose people. So you get to actually break it up more. Okay, here's another sort of graphic design element. You need to use subheaders to organize and break up the post. So if, for example, in a 5-paragraph essay, there's not headers, you just kind of like have these different paragraphs. And so your reader knows like, oh, this looks like a 5-paragraph essay. I know that each paragraph is going to have a different theme and or a different topic, and I'm going to have to figure it out. In this case, people don't want to have to figure it out. So use like H2 or H3 headers subheaders to break up your post. Um, Please do browse my post on this topic after this so you can see all the headers that I use. So, like, for example, if in these slides, these little slide titles, that's an example of a subheader. So you want to think about your writing in that sort of way and come up with at least, like, in general, like 3 subtopics. I have this picture of a bento box here because that's basically what subheaders do for your blog post. This is like great because like none of the food is touching a different kind of food, and like you can see everything that's there. So in the same way, as you're saying different things, like, oh, you're gonna say this is A, B, and C, then you're gonna put those things as subheaders, and it helps for speed reading, and it just looks nice. Okay, so this is really important, and you're going to find that if you do your writing first in a Word doc and a WordPress doc or straight up even a piece of paper, but honestly, please do type it first. Um, you're going to have such an easier time getting it published, and really finishing it up as a blog post, because I found very quickly that it's very frustrating to just go start typing when you're in that text editor because that's not what it's meant for. It's meant to like fancy it up and add the pictures and change the formatting and stuff. Writing needs to happen in a word processor because that's where it's done best. And that's where you have the tools that are built in to check your spelling and check your grammar. And that is more important than ever because it's not just going to be my eyes on it, especially if you get real savvy and start indexing your post by adding little category words and stuff. Get into that if you want to, but I'll do an optional lesson on that next week. Um, People are going to read your stuff. Your family members can read your stuff. You can post a link to this blog in your profile, in your social media, in your Insta or whatever, and people can like see what you have to say. But because you have that audience, that means that you're responsible for making that text, making that copy as perfect as possible. So that's why this is so important, to write and to revise in word processor and then take it into WordPress really is that sort of last step. Okay. This next part, this is about what happens in your text editing, like in your blog. Um, Include at least one image or embedded video. At least one. Okay, every time. A featured image and then break it up with at least one other image, linked Instagram post, embedded YouTube video, whatever you want. All of those different forms of media play real nice in either Wix or WordPress, whatever you happen to be using. So do it because people expect to see visual content, not just your writing. And I expect to see it too because it looks great. And that's the style. Okay. So then when you're referencing a stat, when you're quoting another text, anything like that, use a hyperlink. So I would expect to see at least 2 hyperlinks, at least 2, so that you're referencing your texts. For example, if you were to take the option of making a blog post reflecting on that video of the happiest man alive, you need to embed that video in your post, okay? In that case, because then people want to watch it, right? That's how a lot of times that's how people find out about like cool videos and like cool pictures and stuff like that because it's embedded in the post. So make sure you include that stuff in there. Hyperlinks also just great for promoting curiosity. Um, it's like a crazy hyperlink Easter egg hunt in this last post that I did because I want to give you and other readers options to explore more. And I want to show you and give you access to the sites that I used in order to create what I created. Also, you have to do it because plagiarism is an academic crime. So please show your sources. And then finally, you have to write a conclusion. It doesn't have to be long, but you do have to do something to kind of sum up what you just wrote. If you're stuck, the thing I always say is come back to the question, like, so what? Like, so why does this matter? Why is it significant? Why did you bother writing this post? Like, how do you feel different after having watched the happiest man alive video? Like, why should people watch it? What should they do next? So you're thinking about like why, so what, things like that. So, and there's just a little encouragement for you. You can do it. This is going to hurt your brain because we spend thousands of hours just consuming content, right? Looking at things that other people have created. But what you're going to do is you're going to create your own content, which is really important and really cool. But first, you got to have something to inspire your content creation. So that's what we've got going on here. So as you can see with your reading this week, you're going to choose one from each column. Okay. So you can choose one of these 3 podcasts. And then you can choose one of these 3 this I believes. Now, if however you get to one of these and you're not feeling it, try another one. And then if you don't like any of these 3, you can just message me, like chat me in Teams or whatever during the week. And if you find another this I believe that you'd rather reflect on, cool. Now, because the blog post is now going to be more involved, I'm not requiring you to do a 4-hour guide this week. All right. The only writing that you have to do is to make your blog post, besides the quick write that you did at the beginning of this video, because it was meant to prepare you to start helping you to generate ideas for your blog posts. So these are your 3 ideas. One, this is like just really general. Like, pick 2 of any of these week's readings. Like, for example, going back to this, pick one of these and pick one of these. Or if you want to, you get curious, you can pick 2 from this side and compare and contrast them and just reflect on them. Okay. Um, the second option, you can choose to listen to this podcast from the BBC about why learn to be happy, and then use some of that to answer that quick write question. Might it be possible to learn to be happier? Like, according to the people who were interviewed in that podcast, like some people say yes, some people say no. And then what do you say? So that's where you get to kind of like weigh in on what you think after listening to that. You could, of course, include other research, other texts that you find if you wish. And then the third one, what is the difference between happiness and joy? And then make a post about that. Use personal experience. Tell us a story from your life, with beginning, middle, and end. And then also include evidence from one of those texts that you read, that you listened to this week. Now, whatever you choose, your post for this week needs to include the 7 things every student's blog should have into. That means it needs an introduction, it needs a conclusion, needs an interesting title, needs a picture, needs a couple links, all those things. And you need to edit it in a word processor first before you start putting it into WordPress or Wix or whatnot. And again, just to show you real quick, here, let me exit from here. This is what this post looks like. It's slow. All right, so the things that you need to do in your blog post this week, I cover in here. So, oh, that's not in the right place. Ooh, I gotta delete that. Cool, I gotta update my thing. But anyway, so you're gonna go through here and do your thing, okay? Of course, I'm available um several different times. I opened up office hours and I've had some really great conversations with you guys. So, hold on. Okay, so here's my last slide. Office hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 11 a.m. to noon, Tuesday, Thursday from 2:30 to 3:30, and then on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. So all those times I'm going to be there on Teams in the general English chat, And if you've asked me a question at some point that day and it seems kind of involved, I'll probably try to call you into one of those meetings. So just remember, put that on your calendar. And I'm happy to help you. I can see your screen, help you figure out what's going on so we can learn and create new content together. All right. Have a great week.